I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. Now we are continuing in our histories again. We're going to read the ending of King Josiah. We're going to read it first in 2 Kings chapter 23. Then we will read it in 2 Chronicles chapter 35. Remember, brief summary of old Josiah. He was 8 years old when he became king after his father was assassinated. At the age of 16, he turns his heart to God. At the age of 12, at the age of 20, he begins to try and get rid of all the evilness in the kingdom. In his 18th year, he starts preparing the temple when the high priest Hilkiah finds the lost book, likely the book of Deuteronomy. And based on this book, he institutes a sweeping religious reform that destroys all evil. All idols, all sorcerers, all evil practices are just wiped out of the kingdom. And then he holds a great Passover. That's where we left off. So let us read about the end of Josiah. 2 Kings chapter 23, we're going to just read verses 29 and 30. In his days, Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, went up against the king of Assyria to the river Euphrates. And King Josiah went against him, and he slew him at Megiddo, when he had seen him. And his servants carried him in a chariot dead from Megiddo, and brought him to Jerusalem, and buried him in his own sepulchre. And the people of the land took Jehoahaz, the son of Josiah, and anointed him, and made him king in his father's stead. That's all we get in the 2 Kings. Assyria and Egypt are at war. Assyria has been the primary power in the Middle East for about 100 years now. Now, Egypt is challenging them, and they're going up there, and they're fighting, but apparently Josiah was allied with Assyria, and he goes out to fight against Egypt and is killed in battle. And his son Jehoahaz is made king. Let us turn now to 2 Chronicles, chapter 37, and we're going to read verses 20 through 27. So a little bit more detail here. After all this, meaning after the Passover, after all this, when Josiah had prepared the temple, Necho, king of Egypt, came up to fight against Carchemish by Euphrates, and Josiah went out against him. But he sent ambassadors to him, saying, What have I to do with thee, thou king of Judah? I come not against thee this day, but against the house wherewith I have war. For God commanded me to make haste. Forbear thee from meddling with God, who is with me, that he destroy thee not. Nevertheless, Josiah would not turn his face from him, but disguised himself that he might fight with him, and hearkened not unto the words of Necho from the mouth of God, and came to fight in the valley of Megiddo. And the archers shot at King Josiah, and the king said to his servants, Have me away, for I am sore wounded. His servants therefore took him out of that chariot, and put him in the second chariot that he had, and they brought him to Jerusalem. And he died, and was buried in one of the sepulchres of his fathers. And all Judah and Jerusalem mourned for Josiah. I find this very interesting. I don't know if Josiah was actually allied with Assyria, but he might just be saying, Egypt, you're trying to march through our land. We're not going to have that. We're driving you out. But the valley of Megiddo is kind of farther north. So if that was the case, I would expect them to meet in the south, near Beersheba. But since they're fighting in Megiddo, it actually sounds more like he's going out to help the Assyrians. But Pharaoh tells him, look, God told me to do this. And it confirms that God did tell him to do it, which is why Josiah is killed. It seems to be his one error here, is that he fights against Egypt when God is on Egypt's side. But he disguises himself, hoping not to be a target, but is killed by the archers anyways. Kind of a sad end to a great man. Verse 25. And Jeremiah lamented for Josiah, and all the singing men and the singing women spake of Josiah in their lamentations to this day, and made them an ordinance in Israel. And behold, they are written in the lamentations. Now the rest of the acts of Josiah and his goodness, according to that which was written in the law of the Lord, and his deeds, first and last, behold, they are written in the book of the kings of Israel and Judah. I think this might be the only reference to Jeremiah outside the book that he wrote. Jeremiah mourned for Josiah, because to whom Jeremiah Josiah was the last hope. God had promised that the destruction would not come while Josiah was alive, and Jeremiah was hoping that it would be for a while. And then he gets killed. At the age of 39, Josiah is killed. And Jeremiah, he must know that at that point, there is the destruction and the decline of the kingdom is in full swing and destruction's on its way. I understand why Jeremiah mourned. Anyways, we're actually going to read a little bit from Jeremiah next, and then return to our histories for a little bit. So we will see you there.